Do they not know, like, when she was gone, it went back to the year before she was in the league?
Yeah.
Like,
you guys as a group, what is very important? Because this is not men and women. Men are thinking business. You guys are thinking emotional. Right? You guys think, why does she deserve?
Because not one of them girls is going to go in there and be like, I think she probably should be on. Not one of them.
No, of course not.
The WNBA just made a huge mistake, and everyone knows it. The WNBA had a golden opportunity, and they blew it. When Caitlin Clark entered the league, everything changed. TV ratings soared. Ticket sales skyrocketed. Merchandise flew off the shelves. It wasn't just a rookie entering the game, it was a cultural event. And the moment she wasn't on the court, it felt like the league had rewound.
Winning gold, that's not the issue, right? You're saying millions of people will be mad if she doesn't play a lot. Well, that means a million people won't be viewing if she's not on the team. So if she's on a team,
they're watching.
The jersey sales. Do you think you can sell more jerseys without her or with her? Obviously, it's going to be with her.
Absolutely.
USA jersey with her name on it is going to sell.
Everything other than basketball lines up for Caitlin. Everything other than basketball lines up for Caitlin to be on the team.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying.
Back to the year before she arrived. Empty seats, flat energy, and lower national interest. It's not hard to understand. Fans want to watch her play. When she's on the floor, people tune in. When she's not, they change the channel. That's not disrespect, it's demand. And yet, for reasons that have less to do with basketball and more to do with internal politics, Clark has been consistently sidelined, slighted, or left out. This isn't...
Take the most popular that everyone's fucking with. If you take her off the court, you're back to what you guys were.
The ratings, all that shit.
Why would you even, like, just enjoy and go on with it? Like, think about what they was getting paid before they said, Jordan, you're the guy.
Just about sports. It's about business. And for a league that has spent decades begging for visibility and respect, ignoring your biggest draw is not just a bad call, it's a historic misstep. Consider this, a USA jersey with Caitlin Clark's name on it would outsell the rest combined. She's the kind of player who sells out arenas and turns casual viewers into devoted fans. Every metric, ticket sales, ratings, merch, is screaming the same message: Caitlin Clark isn't just a player.
Caitlin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds. But it's interesting. For years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, the media is sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose and they don't like what it looks like. Iowa girl, Indiana girl. Well, who knows? And I've said this for years. When the wave hits, ride it.
She's the engine. And yet, the league continues to treat her like a background character in her own story. This isn't about gold medals. It's about the millions of Americans who are invested in seeing her play. When she's not on the team, those viewers vanish, and with them go the dollars, the headlines, and the future growth of the league. It's hard to imagine the NBA making the same mistake.
The women of the WNBA voted Caitlin Clark as the 9th best guard. They sure pay a lot of attention to the 9th best guard. I saw that you put out jealous is the word. I would agree with that. There is still, to this day, a lot of jealousy, and I think maybe it's even getting worse. I do.
I thought we were turning a corner here, Dan. I thought we saw her teammates having her back. I thought we were maybe settling down with this obsession with Caitlin Clark and this. It really feels almost like a hatred toward her, but it's clearly a jealousy.
Imagine if, back in the day, they told Michael Jordan, hey, thanks for the buzz, but maybe sit this one out. That would have been unthinkable. And yet, here we are. Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation star. She's got the game, the grace, and the attention of the world. The WNBA asked for this moment, and now that it's here, they seem unsure what to do with it. If they're not careful, she might just do what every smart businesswoman does when she's undervalued, build something bigger on her own. And honestly, that might be the smartest move in women's sports since Serena Williams picked up a tennis racket. Jealousy, politics, and the WNBA's greatest missed opportunity. Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the WNBA, she reignited it. But rather than celebrate that spark, the league has surrounded her with cold shoulders, behind-the-scenes resentment, and a level of internal politics that feels more like high school drama than professional sports. This year, Clark finished 9th in player voting among guards for the All-Star game, 9th. And yes, that includes being ranked lower than some of her own teammates. It was a clear signal, this isn't just about basketball. It's about ego. For years, WNBA players and advocates pointed fingers outward.
All of the established stars in this WNBA constantly, quietly, privately complain to their coaches and to their team executives about Caitlin Clark getting way too much attention and way too much credit for the exploding TV ratings. The attitude I sense from so many other older WNBA players seems to be, what are we, chopped liver? It's not just her driving these ratings. What have we been doing all these years? Sorry, ladies, but compared to her drawing power, you are chopped liver.
The media was sexist, the system was unfair, and women's basketball was being ignored. Then, the moment national attention showed up, packaged in a 6-foot blonde from Iowa with a jump shot that defies logic, they recoiled. Suddenly, it wasn't the right kind of attention. It's like spending decades asking for a lifeboat, finally getting one, and deciding to poke holes in it because it's the wrong color. Caitlin Clark is exactly what the league has been asking for, a marketable, electrifying, generational talent who boosts ratings, fills arenas, and brings new fans into the fold. She's a walking headline, a ratings magnet, and a merchandising machine. But instead of embracing her, much of the league is acting like she's a problem to be managed. The reality is this, if Caitlin Clark left tomorrow and started her own league, she'd probably outdraw half the teams in the WNBA. Call it Clarkland, and watch the sponsors, streaming platforms, and fans line up. She's not just an athlete, she's a brand, and one that the league should have gone all in on. Instead, we're watching veterans whisper to coaches and front offices, complaining that Clark is getting too much attention, too much credit, too much praise. They want to know where their recognition is. The truth? Compared to her impact, they're not moving the needle. What the league is doing now is not strategy, it's sabotage. Instead of building around a player who could carry the league into a new era, they're gatekeeping her into a corner. If this keeps up, the WNBA...
All right. So we've talked WNBA, we've talked Angel Reese, we've talked all the things that are going on. There's been this back and forth from all the WNBA players that the league is not just Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like the league is not just Caitlin Clark. There are other people who are doing things. So Caitlin Clark has been injured. So she hasn't been playing. Since Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark.
Won't just miss an opportunity, it'll become a case study in how to fumble a golden moment in real time. The WNBA seems to be treating popularity like a limited resource, as if Caitlin Clark getting attention somehow takes something away from everyone else. But attention isn't pie. When one player shines, the whole league benefits. Clark's spotlight brings more eyes to the game, more fans in the stands, and more sponsors writing checks. She doesn't take attention away, she creates it. And yet, it feels like the league and some of its players view her success as a threat, not a blessing. The numbers are clear. When Clark plays, arenas fill up. When she sits out, ratings drop by over 55%. That's not an exaggeration. It's a wake-up call. The WNBA has a player who can fill seats like Beyoncé and draw ratings that rival men's games, and instead of riding that momentum, they've tried to suppress it. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player. She's a phenomenon. She's the headline, the box office, the ratings draw, and the future. And still, some voices in the media bend over backwards to downplay her. She's not that good, they claim, as she drains 30-foot threes and boosts league visibility like no one else ever has. Analysts...
Speaking of relationships, Alyssa Thomas, during the playoffs, she spoke out and condemned racism. The Fever fans were being the Fever fans.
Yeah, they wanted to latch on to Caitlin Clark and then use her as like this fuel to be able to be the way that they want it to be. They want her to be the representation of their racism, and she's not like that. You have to be careful when you say like the Fever fans, because I don't think it's the Fever fans. I think it's the people that wanted Caitlin Clark to be a certain type of way, and they thought that she was, and so they became Caitlin Clark fans, assuming that, and then they realized like, oh no, she's actually not racist.
Who never made it past JV suddenly want to question her legitimacy. Let's be honest, this is jealousy, not analysis. The WNBA could have leaned in. They could have made her the centerpiece of a new era. Instead, they've treated her like an outsider, as if being exceptional disqualifies her from being embraced. It's not just short-sighted, it's sabotage. And yes, the dynamics are bigger than just sports. Caitlin Clark has also become an unwilling lightning rod in a broader cultural conversation. Some try to weaponize her popularity, projecting their own biases onto her, hoping she'd represent something she never stood for. But Clark has remained focused, respectful, and clear. She's here to play ball, not politics. So maybe it's time to consider the unthinkable. Caitlin Clark might need her own league. A league where talent is rewarded, not resented. Where fans aren't punished for enthusiasm. Where marketing isn't a dirty word, and being extraordinary doesn't make you a target. A league built on growth, fun, and freedom instead of old grudges and politics. Imagine it, every game a must-see event, packed crowds, corporate sponsors fighting to get in, a media-savvy product built around what fans actually want. Because here's the hard truth, the WNBA begged for visibility. They cried out for investment. Then they got a generational talent who brought it all.
Female bird. She had Van Slugenhagen on her. She was like, I'm offended that y'all have white defensive players guarding me, and she put her in the torture chamber. You should have known from her little face that she didn't want this matchup from the beginning. Caitlin reminds me of what Dame does. If anybody ever noticed, her first shot always a three. First quarter, second quarter, third. She sets the distance on her first shot, so you have to guard her there. Now she can do whatever she wants to do. She's playing a chess game. That's what Dame does. He starts his game off. He's going to shoot a deep-ass three to force you to guard her from...
And they treated her like a liability. If Clark ever walks away, builds her own brand, or creates something new, don't be surprised. In fact, expect the same people who ignored her to suddenly act like they always supported her. But we'll remember. Because the receipts are everywhere. Caitlin Clark has the ingredients, the platform, the talent, and the fan base. All she needs is the freedom to cook. And if the WNBA won't protect a player like her, they don't deserve to keep her. Simple as that. Caitlin Clark and the WNBA's crisis of insecurity. Caitlin Clark is changing basketball. She's sharp, strategic, and one of the most exciting talents we've seen in years. But instead of celebrating that, the WNBA seems confused, treating her popularity like it's a limited resource, something to ration out carefully. As if her rise somehow diminishes everyone else. Let's be clear, attention is not a pie. One person getting a bigger slice doesn't mean less for others. In fact, Clark's spotlight is lighting up the entire sport. But the league isn't acting like that's a good thing. Instead, they're treating her like an outsider, an intruder into a space that's supposed to be shared equally. But professional sports aren't about equal screen time. They're about star power. People don't tune into...
You want to go see Caitlin Clark tonight in Atlanta? You know what that's costing you? Right now on the secondary market, cheapest ticket, $296.
Wow. Okay.
That's bananas to me.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Like, I'm a Caitlin Clark believer, but that's $300 to go sit at the top of State Farm Arena?
That's wild. That's wild. So the dream...
There ain't a Hawks game.
Right.
That costs $300. I'm talking Steph's there, LeBron's there, KD's there. You don't pay $300 to get in?
I think that's true.
Is she the biggest draw in basketball?
No.
Yes.
No.
I just proved it to you.
The NBA because of balance. They show up for LeBron, Steph, Giannis, for greatness. The NBA promotes its stars relentlessly. The WNBA? They've left Caitlin Clark to fend for herself, taking hits on the court and shots in the press without a word of support from league executives. The message? It's not about talent or growth. It's about control. About keeping the existing order in place, even if that means shrinking the spotlight when the league needs it most. Clark is playing chess out there. Like Damian Lillard, she sets the tone from her first shot, usually a deep three. She forces defenders to stretch the floor. She dictates pace. She's not just scoring, she's thinking 2 plays ahead. But her genius on the court is being overshadowed by the politics of it. Meanwhile, she's getting fouled like she owes someone money, elbowed without calls, and treated like she has to earn her place, despite the fact that she's single-handedly driving ratings, ticket sales, and national media attention. Let's look at the numbers. The cheapest seat to see her live in Atlanta? Nearly $300. That's more than many NBA games featuring superstars like Steph Curry or LeBron James. And since her recent injury absence, WNBA ratings have dropped over 55%. What more proof do we need that Caitlin Clark...
She, and she alone, is driving the ratings way, way above what all of you together were able to generate before she first set foot on a WNBA stage. Now, Caitlin did have a rookie foil figure opposite her in Angel Reese. And man, Caitlin versus Angel in this year's opener set the all-time WNBA ratings record. But as cool and charismatic as Angel is, as dominant as she is on social media, as opposed to Caitlin, the truth is that Angel can't begin to match Caitlin's basketball drawing power.
Is the engine. But instead of protecting that asset, the league has turned its back. Players rank her 9th among guards, 9th, when she's drawing more viewers than the rest of them combined. And the fans? They've noticed. They've seen her out there smiling through adversity, signing autographs, staying professional while others are subtweeting and taking cheap shots. And now, there's talk that maybe she should just leave. Not because she failed, but because the league around her has. Maybe the real answer is Europe. In Spain, Italy, Turkey, women's basketball is celebrated. They protect their stars. They invest in their future. They don't punish success. Over there, Clark would be embraced. Paid. Respected. She'd fly private. She'd be the face of an international movement. And honestly, she deserves that. What's happening now isn't sustainable. A league can't run on resentment. You don't grow a sport by tearing down the one person drawing in fans. And you don't keep talent by making them the scapegoat for their own success. Some say Caitlin was handed everything. But no one gets handed 5 million viewers. No one gets handed standing ovations in sold-out arenas.
Unfortunately, I am not surprised that the players ranked her so low. However, I do take it as a sign of disrespect to Caitlin Clark. I know that she hasn't had her greatest season. I also know that she has been out with injury, but there is no person in the world who can convince me that there are 8 better guards than Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. And I also think it's so interesting because if you look closely here, the players have the first, second, third, 2 players tied for 4th, then the 6th, 7th. There is no 8th place guard in this player.
She earned that with her play, her poise, her presence. And if the WNBA can't protect her, can't promote her, can't support her, then maybe she really does need to walk away. Not out of bitterness, but out of vision. Because what she represents is bigger than one team or one season. She represents the future of women's sports. She represents every little girl who stayed up late to watch her. Who bought the jersey? Who saw themselves in her game? This is bigger than one rookie. This is about whether the league wants to grow, or fade away clinging to a fragile status quo. Right now, it looks like they'd rather sink the ship than hand someone else the wheel. Caitlin Clark will be just fine. Whether in Indiana, Istanbul, or somewhere entirely new, greatness doesn't wait for permission. It builds the stage it deserves. And if the WNBA won't let her shine, she'll find another way. Or she'll build something better. From scratch.
You got to put it in perspective, right? These girls have been grinding to grow the game of basketball in the WNBA. They've been grinding to grow the sport to the world, the viewerships. They've been grinding for all of this. And then you have this girl that comes along from college and is an instant change. She's handed pretty much being the face of the league. There's going to be girls that are offended by that. And there's going to be girls that think she's got to earn it and she doesn't deserve this early. She's handled it great. I think she's performed last year. She's performing again this year. I think she's the rightful face of the NBA.